After roughly 20 hours of gameplay, I now declare that Slay the Spire 2 is the best roguelike of 2026. For anyone who hasn't played the original Slay the Spire 1 like myself, Slay the Spire 2 is a deck building roguelike developed by Megacrit, and the gameplay loop is pretty simple. There is a total of 3 acts in the game, and you start each run talking to a whale named Niao, and you're filled with a weak deck of cards and fight your way through a spire. And the spire is filled with enemies, elites, events, shops, and bosses. Now, as you progress through the spire, you add new cards, collect relics, and slowly turn your deck into something that is absolutely beautiful. In Slay the Spire 2, there is an abundance of characters to choose from. Starting off with the Ironclad, whose kit relies on strength scaling, block stacking, and exhausting. You can scale up your strength to do big amounts of damage. The Silent, which her kit focuses on her poison that does damage over time, or her shivs, which you play a card and you draw shivs that cost 0 energy but do 4 damage each. The Regent, who's a character with 2 energy sources, the second one being called Stars, and a system called Forge, which adds damage to a card called Sovereign Blade. The Neckarbinder, a character with a summon ability and his summon being named Otzi. Otzi is your personal bodyguard, and he is able to do damage and tank damage for you. You can also buff Otzi's damage with certain cards in your deck, and you can also send your enemies to hell. Last and definitely not least, the Defect, whose combat relies on channeling and evoking. Channeling, which places one of the orb elements in your empty slots, and evoking, which casts the rightmost orb in your slots. Keep in mind that this game is in early access, so there is no final say that these will be the only playable characters in the game. Starting off in your run, when you talk to Niao, you're able to scout each landmarks with your map and see which route would be the most successful for you. You are also able to draw on the map to help strategize on your run. Yet after 20 hours, I haven't been able to beat Act 3, but I'm still having fun testing out new ways to help get a successful run, hopefully. But anyways, after your run ends, you get XP, and the XP unlocks an epoch in the timeline. The timeline, which is the game's way of world building and lore, the epoch gives you unlocks such as new relics and potions, cards for characters, and nothing. But the game is in early access, so that's why it gives you nothing, so in the future it will turn into rewards. In the shop, you're able to buy new cards, relics, and potions to add to your deck. You're also able to remove a card from your deck, which helps with bloating, so your deck isn't filled with useless cards like strikes and defense. At a campfire, you're able to rest and heal for a certain amount of health. You can also upgrade a card in your deck, and I would recommend upgrading your card if you are above 50% health. At elite camps, which are the purple enemies on the map, you fight a very tough foe, but upon victory, you are granted with bonus rewards to help in your run. At the very top of the map, you fight the boss of the act, which acts as a gatekeeper for the next act. Once you defeat the boss, you get a rare card reward, and your health is reset for the next act. I also forget to mention the brown and gold question marks on the map, which are events. Events are random instances to where you can get free items to add to your deck, or you can pay for them, or you can just fight a random enemy. The gold events often lead to stronger foes, but better rewards. This game's difficulty blends really well with there only being 3 acts. At first, I thought 3 acts sounded a little bit short, but after playing for a while, I realized exactly on why that works. Each act feels like its own difficulty spike. Act 1 teaches you the basics and lets you start building your deck. Act 2 starts punishing your weak decisions and forces you to think ahead. And by the time you reach Act 3, the game expects your build to totally function. If your deck has a weakness, the game is most likely going to exploit that weakness. Despite the game still being in early access, Slay the Spire 2 is a top-notch game, and I'm very excited to see what this game provides in the future. Don't forget to like and sub. Thank you all for watching.